So Jeb Bush was supposed to be the Republican frontrunner. He was supposed to be ahead by now. He was supposed to be the guy, the establishment guy, that was going to take the nomination, albeit through a bit of a hard primary fight. But it turns out, no, he's nowhere even close. Some of the recent polls have put Jeb Bush at about 3% nationally. Oh, that's terrible. But the interesting thing about Jeb Bush is that even though he's at 3% in the polls, he spent most of the money. Now, Vox had a great report on this, where they said that Jeb Bush's campaign operation has ended up spending an incredible amount of money for almost no effect. Wow. Now, this is according to ad buying data from SMG Delta, and it's posted by Mark Murray of NBC News. Bush's Super PAC and campaign, according to this data, have already spent $32 million on ads, on campaign ads. That is a lot more than any other GOP candidate in the race so far. In fact, they say that Team Bush is spending twice as much as the combined money spent on ads for the top 4 GOP candidates. That include Ted Cruz, Donald Trump, Marco Rubio, and Ben Carson. And yet, Jeb, I just mentioned, he's at 3% in the polls. 3% nationally, and still in the single digits in all the other early primary states. He's had almost no traction. Oh, that's amazing. And that's also incredibly sad. In fact, Vox kind of put this into a graphical form. I want you guys to take a look at this graphic, just showing the amount of money spent by a campaign in relation to their polling numbers. Take a look at this. Jeez, man, that giant bubble over there, that's Jeb. 3.8%. Yeah, John Kasich over there, 2%, spending $8.4 million. Lindsey Graham spending $2.7 million. Then you have Marco Rubio. Now, Marco Rubio, he actually did get some bang for his buck. He's spent about $13 million on ads, and now he's about 14.8%. And then you have Ted Cruz spending a paltry $850,000, and he's at 15%. But Donald Trump, look at Donald Trump, only spending $216,000. Well, that's because the media has been giving him free airtime. I mean, there was another report that said that Donald Trump had gotten the most media coverage out of all the... In fact, Donald Trump has had more media coverage than the entire Democratic field. That's an amazing statistic. They just give him all this airtime. That's it. It's because they make money off Trump. He says so many outrageous things. They want to cover it. They want to say, hey, oh, look at what Trump did today. Look at what Trump said today. Oh, give me that sweet, sweet advertising money. That's exactly what it is. And so Trump, he's hardly had to spend any of his own money. But here's Jeb Bush, who's boring, low energy. Nobody cares about Jeb. Nobody wants Jeb. Nobody likes Jeb. Spending all of this money, millions and millions of dollars, $30 million in ads. Nothing. Nothing. Look, that's why I kept saying Jeb Bush is not going to go anywhere. I don't think he will be the nominee. I just don't think it's possible. They don't like him. The base hates him. He's spending all this money to no effect. But he's still going to hang in there until the field gets a little smaller. He's going to hang in there at least until Super Tuesday. And then afterwards, if it doesn't get better for Jeb, he's gone. He's gone. The question is, how much more money does he have to burn through? Well, they actually have some data on that as well. And when it comes to how much money Bush still has in his campaign coffers, he's got $67 million left in the bank. Jesus. Now, some analysts from Vox say that we might not expect that extra money to do Jeb any good. But it is worth noting the millions spent so far are actually been spent on positive ads. Well, that's interesting. So these are $32 million on ads saying how good Jeb Bush is. So they speculate that maybe doing negative attack ads, that will help. I don't think so. Because once again, people already know about Jeb. And what they know, and the more they know, and I did a poll on this too, the more they get to know Jeb Bush, the more they don't like him. Because Jeb is an empty suit. There's nothing there. There's nothing there for people to like. So there's that. Now, finally, they do point out that a lot of this money was actually spent on Iowa and New Hampshire, and not nationally. So that's kind of important. But still, in the places where he spent all this money, he's had no change in his polling. Barely any change. The top 4 candidates in Iowa and New Hampshire are the same as the national top 4. According to the HuffPost pollster and Real Clear Politics averages, Trump, Cruz, Carson, who have all spent very little, and Rubio, who spent $13.1 million, those are the top 4 in Iowa and New Hampshire. Where's Jeb? Down at the bottom. Oh, this is not good for Jeb. And there's a reason that I use the graphic of a dumpster fire. Because that's essentially what Jeb's campaign has turned into.